Sharing a story should be fun for everyone, even grown-ups. Before you read it to them, read it yourself. What do you think about the characters, the writing, the pictures? If you love it, chances are they will too. And if it's a favorite from your own childhood, sharing it with them will be even more special. Another great benefit is knowing what comes next. Never again will you mumble your way through a song or lose the plot at a climactic moment. Here's a case in point from Revolting Rhymes. "That's wrong," cried Wolf. "Have you forgot to tell me what big teeth I've got? Oh well, no matter what you say, I'm going to eat you anyway." The small girl smiles. One eyelid flickers. She whips a pistol from her knickers. Actually, kids love it when grown-ups lose the plot. Now get everyone comfortable and ready to listen. Can you be heard? Is there enough light? Maybe you chose a book to suit everyone's mood. It could be fiction or nonfiction. Maybe they brought you the one they convinced you to read 5 times yesterday. It's all good. If your young people are easily distracted, it's okay for them to draw or play games quietly while you read. They'll still get the benefit of your brilliance. Here's an example from Fantastic Mr. Fox. Okay, are all you small foxes comfy? Yeah? Everyone have their pens and paper? Super, let's start. Does anyone remember where we got to last time? Oh yeah, the terrible tractors. Soon, 2 enormous caterpillar tractors with mechanical shovels on their front ends came clanking into the wood. Bean was driving one, Bunce the other. The machines were both black. They were murderous, brutal-looking monsters. "Here we go then," shouted Bean. "Death to the fox," shouted Bunce. The machines went to work, biting huge mouthfuls of soil out of the hill. The big tree under which Mr. Fox had dug his hole in the first place was toppled like a matchstick. On all sides, rocks were sent flying and trees were falling, and the noise was deafening. Preparation can make the difference between fraught and fantastic. Now it's time to tame those pages so you can see the text and your kids can see you. So you can use one hand for grand gestures, show them the pictures as you share the story, and turn the pages quickly and easily. Here are 3 ways to hold a book. The paperclip from the top allows you to read to a bunch of little ones. Hold the book off to the side and facing away from you. Now I'll demonstrate with this excerpt from The Enormous Crocodile. Trunky began to swing the crocodile round and round in the air. At first, he swung him slowly. Then he swung him faster and faster and faster and faster still, until soon the enormous crocodile was just a blurry circle going round and round Trunky's head. Now try the claw. Use your pinky finger and thumb to flatten the pages as you hold the book slightly to the side and just below your eye line. And this isn't just good for storybooks. Let's take a look at Where's Wally Now? Okay. I have no idea where he is, but wow, look at all those Vikings. And finally, if it's just the 2 of you, share the book between 2 laps. It's great for a bonding session. Have you seen him yet? about character voices and songs? When doing voices, my motto is high or low, fast or slow. That's all you need. 2 characters from Matilda will demonstrate what I mean.
Now, what is it you want, Miss Honey? Why are you wasting my time?
I came to you to talk about Matilda, headmistress. I have extraordinary things to report about the child. May I please tell you what happened in class just now?
I suppose she set fire to your skirt and scorched your knickers.
Miss Trunchbull snorted. No, Miss Honey cried out. Matilda is a genius. At the mention of this word, Miss Trunchbull's face turned purple and her whole body seemed to swell up like a bullfrog's.
A genius? She shouted. What piffle is this you are talking, madam? You must be out of your mind. I have her father's word for it that the child is a gangster.
So, there you have it. Low and slow for the Trunchbull, high and fast for Miss Honey. Songs are great because you can make up any tune you like or borrow a well-known melody, and the rhymes make it fun to guess what's coming next. In my family, our favorite story songs became classics. I still remember this one from James and the Giant Peach. That was very nice, Miss Spider said. Now sing one about Aunt Spiker. With pleasure, the centipede answered, grinning. And Spiker was thin as a wire, and dry as a bone, only drier. She was so long and thin, if you carried her in, you could use her for poking the fire. Go ahead and write your own catchy tune. Changing tempo is a great way to grab kids' attention and build suspense or add humor. Try slowing down until you're about to keel over. Or speed it up until you can barely hear yourself speak it so fast. This is where a bit of practice helps, but it's good to try things out in the moment too. Here's both fast and slow in a reading from A Monster Calls. I think it's really effective. She kicked forward through the rubbish, almost as if she didn't even see it. Connor backed away from her quickly, stumbling over the ruins of the settee. He kept a hand up to protect himself, expecting blows to land any moment. But she wasn't coming for him. She walked right past him, her face twisted in tears, the moaning spilling out of her again. She went to the display cabinet, the only thing remaining upright in the room, and she grabbed it by one side and pulled on it hard once, twice, and a third time, sending it crashing to the floor with a final sounding crunch. With a book as emotional as this one is, it's important to keep it real, so make the differences subtle. If you're ready to add more strings to your bow, try moving from shh to shout. This contrast is good for sharing both voices and narration. Or how about monotone to musical? I use both in this reading from Oi Frog. See what you think.
Oi, frog! Sit on a log, said the cat.
But I don't want to sit on a log, said the frog. Logs are all knobbly and uncomfortable, and they can give you splinters in your bottom.
I don't care, said the cat. You're a frog, so you must sit on a log.
Can't I sit on a mat?
asked the frog. Only cats sit on mats, said the cat.
What about a chair? Said the frog. I wouldn't mind sitting on a chair. One last thing. Whispering is great fun. It feels like a secret, and kids love secrets. Okay, you've got a book in one hand and one hand free. Maybe your kids are drawing. Maybe they're waiting with bated breath for you to turn the page and tell them the secret code. Now, let's take it to another level by adding movement and props. You can make your movements as big or small as you like, and absolutely invite the kids to join in. Maybe their arms become flapping wings, or a wooden spoon becomes a paintbrush. Let's make it happen in this reading from The Twits.
We mustn't waste time, cried Mugglewump. Hurry up, hurry up! Now, the first thing is this. I want everyone to paint sticky glue all over the ceiling. Cover it all. Smear it in every corner.
Over the ceiling? They cried. Why the ceiling?
Never mind why, shouted Mugglewump. Just do as you're told and don't argue. And so the great glue painting of the ceiling began. All the other birds who had been sitting on the roof flew in to help, carrying paintbrushes in their claws and beaks. There were buzzards, magpies, rooks, ravens, and many more. Everyone was splashing away like mad, and with so many helpers, the job was soon finished. Now you're in the creative zone, so just go for it. Now let's make it even more interactive. For younger readers, try this. You say it, they repeat it. Ask for kid-inspired sound effects. Rawr. Get them to count and name what they see. Let them guess what's coming next. And while you read, they can close their eyes and imagine how the words feel, taste, and smell. Here's a book for older readers, Noughts and Crosses. How would you make it interactive? Dad looked up, and our eyes met. He looked away again, almost immediately, but not before the image of his battered face had burnt its way into my mind. His split lip and his bruised cheek and his black eye. But there was no condemnation on his face, just a sweeping, intense sadness. The clerk repeated his question. On the charge of political terrorism, how do you plead? Guilty or not guilty? Silence. Silence that went on and on and on. The defendant will please answer the question, Judge Anderson said brusquely. Dad glanced up at Mum and me again. Not guilty, he said at last. A collective gasp broke from every corner of the courtroom. Mum squeezed my hand. How about you take turns reading, sharing the story as a family? Encourage them to connect the book with their own experience and enjoy it when they challenge your beliefs. It's a rich vein of interaction that will just get better and better. Remember, you're not just sharing a story, you're sharing your story. Speak your thoughts aloud as you read about the characters, the pictures, the situation, something that happened in the world, or a memory from when you were young. Set an example and your kids will become active, engaged readers who make their own connections. Here's a reading from
Good night stories for rebel girls to show you what I mean. One day, a girl was standing in front of a grocery store when a black man came running past. He was being chased by a white man who yelled, "Stop that man! He's my slave!" She did nothing to stop him. The girl's name was Harriet Tubman. She was 12 years old, and she was also enslaved. Harriet hoped the man would escape. She wanted to help him. A few years later, the family who owned her put her up for sale, so Harriet decided to escape. You know, she ended up helping other slaves escape on the Underground Railroad, and she was a spy. I can't imagine being that brave, can you? How can someone be that brave? Let's read about more rebel girls and find out. Challenge kids with stories above their reading level. When you get to something difficult or new in the book, stop and repeat it slowly. Ask them to repeat it too. Tell them what you love about it, what it makes you think of, other words that mean the same thing, and so on. Then explain its meaning and use it again in another context. Here's an example from The Witches. "They're talking about me," I thought. "These females are actually talking about how to kill me." I began to sweat.
"Whoever he is not important," announced the Grand High Witch. "Leave him to me. I shall smell him out and turn him into a mackerel and have him dished up for supper."
"Bravo!" cried the witches. "Cut off his head and chop off his tail and fry him in hot butter."
"Attention again!" the Grand High Witch was shouting. "I will now give to you the recipe for concocting Formula 86 Delayed Action Mouse Maker. Get out pencils and paper." Handbags were opened all over the room and notebooks were fished out. Did you notice the Grand High Witch was concocting Formula 86? What is concocting anyway? Concocting. Sounds sciencey, doesn't it? It's sort of like making, experimenting, and cooking all in one word. What other way could you use the word concocting? I know. How about they were concocting a plan to rescue the mouse? Yeah. Congratulations! You're on your way to a daily dose of reading heaven with your kids that will have lasting benefits. Now you have the tools, just have a great time. And remember, just 10 minutes a day is all it takes to share a story.